My expectations of myself are like up here. My reality's here though. And that gap really does hurt people.
Selling to people who are rich, it's just so much easier.
What do you feel like is different in maybe this opportunity or like maybe this point in your career that sort of was missing in the past? Like, what are you sort of focusing on now as like needle movers in your career? What do you think were like the biggest learnings that you had from selling something that's sort of more brick and mortar? Why sales and like where did it all begin?
How did it begin? So originally it all started out on COVID. I was an IT dude at schools. I got some decent money off crypto at the time, but then it was just kind of like, fuck it. I want to start a business. I want to do this shit. Like,
and he goes, one piece of advice I'll give you.
yeah.
And I was like, shit. And I remember I called him back 2 weeks later. Hey bro, quit my job. Let's do it.
Just close at 40% and then just go focus on process. Skills will come eventually anyway, because you probably get more reps from it, from going process driven anyway. But there's almost a beauty to the pure ignorance.
Chase, lovely to see you, my friend.
Good to see you as well. Good to be here. It's been long in the making.
It has been. I've been like super excited to finally have this discussion, and I think we've been planning it for a very long time. Because you got a very interesting, I would say, story in the space. And also, of course, we've been friends for fucking feels like forever now.
Been a
I
minute.
would say officially like my first proper friend in like online sales, and then we obviously met in real life a few times, and now we've got a close relationship. So yeah, man, super cool. I'm looking forward to sharing your story and yeah, getting stuck in, man.
Yeah, 100%. It's been a minute. Almost
Yeah,
OGs in the space at this point, as you know. So you spend 2 years in the space and now you're an OG, but 100% been around the block and definitely my first sort of, I guess, friend as well in the high ticket space. That was a really good fucking point.
yeah, we got the UNC status now. But brother, I guess for people that don't know like who you are, what you do, and like the sort of people you help, maybe give the guys a bit of an introduction, a bit of a rundown on how you like to present yourself.
Yeah, for sure. Brief rundown. I've been in the space for like about 2 years now. Started off as a setter, naturally as most do, selling sort of
Yeah.
biz op style, e-commerce, fucking charging through, calling absolute stone rock cold leads, earning $1,000 for 3 months worth of work. Yeah, then sold various other different biz op sort of packages for some of the largest companies, not only in Australia but also in the US, more namely like Ecom Capital, PSU when that was cheering and charging. Over in the US, sold for Jeremy Miner, 7th level. So that was a brief stint, but a sweet one. Now I found myself and stubbed myself into the property space. So selling investment fucking decisions and properties to people,
Yeah.
help them make the best decision for their life. So
Yeah.
that's sort of my background. Been on about 10 different offers in 2 years, so certainly sped run my way through it.
Yeah, I remember you're selling forestry equipment as well. Like very like you never hear of people in high ticket sort of selling like real life sort of products like that, because that's a product, not a service. It's not a you know information like a lot of guys are sort of doing, just that arbitrage of information. Sort of the first question around that just sort of popped in my head, like, what do you, because obviously you sold it the same way as most people would sell like a generic info product. What do you think were like the biggest learnings that you had from selling something that's sort of more brick and mortar in that aspect?
It's a good question because at the time I think my perspective was so limited because I was still somewhat new to closing and sales in general, and so I did try and sell it the same way. And principally, it is all the same, but the thing is, it's just a different environment. Like I'm talking to legitimate hillbillies out in fucking Oklahoma, and I've got to get them to buy the sawmill. Like it's just a different nature of sell. Like the principles are still the same, but it was very much product based, like product knowledge heavy. Like
Yeah.
these dudes would ask me like, okay, what's the fucking corner knot down in quadrant C3? I'm like, I didn't even know. So
Yeah.
I think that taught me a really good skill. I think something important is sales and just life in general is, I learned this from Caleb as well, just being able to not sell yourself out of anything, but be able to speak to something with a high enough level of knowledge and confidence to be able to pass it by.
Yeah, like
So
you know what you're actually fucking talking about. Like a lot of guys sort of miss the forest for the trees with that one, I feel.
for sure, 100%.
I always sort of put it this way too. You don't want to be selling something you wouldn't want to sell your mom. you know.
I don't know if my mum would want to buy a fucking heavy industrial sawmill, but I get the thought behind it.
If she started a logging business or
Yeah.
something, maybe you'd fling her one, you know.
You want to fucking take $100,000 out and buy this fucking tree logger? It's the world's largest sawmill, by the way, for anyone watching. It's called a True Cut sawmill. Literally the largest ones you can buy in the world. So cut some big ass logs. So
Yeah, it's
you
such
definitely didn't need that.
that was sort of an interesting side quest when you're going through all of that. I
That's
remember.
the thing though, because it started off as more of a consulting gig with Caleb. So bit of context around Caleb's a fucking G.
Yeah,
Good dude, was one of the first guys who took me under his wing and taught me a lot about sales. It was more so like a consulting thing. I probably had no place being there, but it started off that, and then I found, fuck, there's no reps that can sell for shit, so I got to try and do this myself. So started off consulting, then became a sales fucking person for it anyway.
yeah, yeah. It's so interesting how that all played out. But I guess take us back, like, sort of, how did you end up getting into the space? Like, I know I obviously know this, and you know, as a lot of people probably would who know you, but I do find it a very interesting story nonetheless. And I think there's a lot of lessons and things that you would have learned during that process. Like, why sales, and like, how, like, where did it all begin?
Yeah, it's taking me back down memory lane. Shit, how did it begin? So originally it all started out on COVID. You know, I
Mm,
was like, I used to I was an IT dude at schools. So I was the little tech dork who sat in the office, and I fucking loved that job. That was the best job ever. Then COVID happened, and obviously they were like, oh yeah, everyone's gonna get this jab and whatnot.
yeah,
And I was like, don't really vibe with that too much. So unfortunately, I had to step down from that role. I was super upset with that. That was like such a
yeah,
good role. But I'm glad it happened in hindsight because naturally, you know, it wouldn't be where I am today. I probably still be cooped up in that office.
yeah.
So I was doing that, going to uni. That happened, then I was like, fuck this. I was listening to I went and worked in a warehouse after that. Oh, that shit was terrible, bro. Like, I don't know, you're from civil, so you had it worse, but like,
Yeah,
come on, man. Like, I'm a white boy IT dork who sits in the office. And then I went into like boiling heat of a
yeah,
warehouse it was like aircon. I made aircons.
bit of a
Absolute degenerate. So I was doing that, and then I was listening to some like Ravi Abdul. What is that? Some YouTube dude, Abi Abdullah,
Ravi,
something like that.
Ravi. That's what is that the guy? Am I thinking of the
No,
proper?
no, that's Ravi Sharma. No, it wasn't that dude. It was some guy. He's some pommy dude. He was like, "You gotta start a YouTube channel." So I literally, the day of after I heard that, I went out, bought all the cameras, and started a YouTube channel. Eventually quit the role to just go all in on YouTube. And funnily enough, I got some decent money off crypto at the time because I was just saving all my money, put it in crypto. So
Yeah,
I kind
yeah.
of
I
went cold
remember.
turkey and went to become a fucking YouTuber. So did that for a year, literally full time, with the intent to sell people shit. Funnily enough, so
Yeah,
started some crazy fucking World Economic Forum YouTube channel, built up a Twitter
that's
following of like
yeah,
60K
yeah.
with all these MAGA dudes, and I was just fucking psy off them all. Done some massive marketing campaign to try sell some t-shirts. Didn't fucking work. I got one sale and a bunch of hate. It was just so awkward. I was like, oh my god, bro, I'm the worst person in the world. But then yeah, it was just kind of like, fuck it. I want to start a business. I want to do this shit. Like, motherfuckers are online, like Iman Gadzhi and whatnot, and like Tate. I'm like, oh, bro, I gotta do something. I gotta do. So yeah, eventually went through various other bullshit agencies, had no idea what I was doing, and then saw fucking the man, the myth, the legend, Luke Alexander.
Yes,
That
yes.
motherfucker, his VSL sold the dream out of me. So booked a call and piffed on the spot. And so the journey began. So that's how I got into it.
Yeah, it's very interesting because there's so many similarities there with like my own story, and I think that's why you and I sort of vibe so much together when we first met. Because yeah, very similar in my own aspect. Like, I was worried that I was going to lose my job due to the COVID jab, and I heard those rumblings start to sort of come about, and I'm like, yeah, man, nah, I need to get out of there. And of course, from the monetary aspect as well, right? Like, when you're working 60-hour weeks, slogging it out in the sun after I'd been doing so since I was like 15, 16.
For
I
sure.
was 6 years in the game. And I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, I'm not even getting ahead. It's sort of a scary reality. But I want to zone in on one thing here because I know some of the guys are listening, maybe not even in sales, maybe looking to start or jump in. I don't want to focus on like what you did, but like, what attributes do you feel like you needed to sort of hone in on that sort of allowed you to take that jump when a lot of people maybe would have conformed or maybe just stayed because it was comfortable or
Yeah.
not made that decision?
It's a really good question. I don't know. Like I always had this sort of all in or nothing sort of mentality. And especially when sort of life starts crumbling down on you, you're like, holy fuck. And so
Yeah.
I don't know, if anything, it was just the COVID jab and everything like that, like, forcing me out of a position, sort of forced me into what I was good at anyway, which
Yeah.
was just like going all in. Um, yeah, throughout that year, it was like, yeah, it got super nerve-wracking when I didn't have too much money left over because I literally spent pretty much the last of my money. Maybe I had like 2K left over to be fair.
Yeah.
Once I jumped into sales, but I don't know. People talk shit about like marketing and shitty programs and like, oh yeah, sell this shit, that's shit. I'm like, yeah, it's true, but it's also like, I don't know, if you just know you're gonna be in it and you're going to do it, and
Yeah.
you make a commitment internally, like, well, this is just kind of what I do now, then you just make it work. Because
Yeah.
objectively, Closer Cartel at the time just wasn't the best. I think it's gotten a bit better now, but
Yeah.
back then it was kind of shit. But I just made it work. So I think the biggest attribute, and it's something that I've always just fall true to, which is just fucking work my ass off and try and become as best as I possibly can.
Yeah.
It's like I don't even care about the money, dude. I never really cared about the money. I was just like, I don't want to be super embarrassed.
Mm.
Like, okay, I'm joining this thing. I don't want to look like a dickhead. I've already looked like a dickhead and fucking doing YouTube for a year, making shitty videos
Yeah.
with all my friends and family watching this dickhead fucking jump on the mic. So I think it was more of that, if anything. Like I just was like, nah, there's no way that's happening again. Like I just have to figure it out now. I'm getting too old, and I don't know. External forces make you like I just felt like a loser. That's
Yeah.
just
You had no other option,
yeah,
really. It all just kind of all happened for you to be able to make that decision nice and easy. So it makes sense. And it's sort of like with the whole, because obviously we were in the same program, right? With
yeah.
uh Closer Cartel with Luke and Nehemiah was the same closer, got a pro pin. Shout out to Big Nehemiah.
I sent him a message the other day. I was like, oh, bro, this is crazy. Like, fucking, you closed me 2 years ago, fifth on the spot, and I just done my fucking first 40K a month. He's like, wow, fucking, that's awesome, bro. So
Yeah,
shout out to him, IJ.
shout out, bro. Like, yeah, without him being on point, not making it weird, like, yeah, we probably both wouldn't be here. Like, I know for a fact we probably wouldn't be here. Maybe we'd have joined another program or something. Who knows? But yeah, I guess with that, I felt like one of the biggest sort of like because Closer Cartel, right? Give me enough skill to be able to go out and have a conversation and know how to run a sales call, right? I think the thing that was sort of lacking at the time, if we look at it objectively, is there wasn't enough people in Australia, right? Because
Yeah, that
back
was a
when
pain in
we
the
first
ass.
started, like where do we even find anyone from Australia? I know like Cruise Hunter Boyd, he ran a program back then, and he was sort of a guy, but I didn't even know who he was. Like I didn't even know
Yeah.
anything about high ticket sales.
Yeah.
That's because of the short sales cycle too. Like me and you both converted within a couple of days.
Yeah.
So shout out to the marketing team, Luke.
Oh,
Um,
smashed it.
but that's how I remember. I remember just going through the Discord and I'm like, where are like Australian roles? Because I was working like very early in the morning with my full time job, and I'd like cold call in the middle of the night homeowners in the USA and try and sell them solar. Like no sales manager, no support. You know, getting
Stuff.
destroyed, getting absolutely mogged. And I found you, and I'd reached out to you a few times. Hard man to reach.
Yeah.
Um, and then I found you
Fucking
on
busy frame.
I found you on Twitter,
Yeah.
and I remember you had Persuasion Academy in your bio, which is Caleb's
Yeah.
program back in the day, the free one. And I went into that, and then I saw a job posting.
Yeah.
Obviously PSU we spoke about, and then that's how we end up selling together and jumping on the same role and started creating that friendship. But like, talk to us about them. What like maybe from your side, I feel like it'd be sort of funny. Like
Yeah.
when we first sort of met, I remember I had strong opinions on the way you should sell and come in and do things a certain way, and then we ended up becoming
Yeah.
friends. And you flew
Yeah.
down from Brisbane to Sydney, and we had some fun times with Kino.
Yeah.
Talk us about that sort of period there, because that's like where all the juicy stuff is. That
100%.
early skin in the game, good manager, good offer.
Yeah. Fuck, there's a lot in that. That was probably the most defining period of my life. That like year stint at PSU. But yeah, just to touch on as well, you're completely right with because Closing Cartel was naturally just heavily US influenced. So I did have the benefit. I was going through with the program with a mate of mine, Dan. But outside of that, I didn't even know Australians fucking existed at that point. So it was so weird, and because I remember you reaching out on Twitter, and just naturally, I think I'm a little bit more of I don't want to talk to cunts.
Yeah.
It could be a bit like, I don't know, I know who I'm with, and then I'm just like, don't talk to anyone. But it just happened eventually, and I remember because I tried to get you. I was looking for a role, and then I found one, and you went with, oh bro, what was that dude's name? You know that motherfucker.
Cormac.
Cormac. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's interesting because you and I were so intertwined in just random periods. Like I never really knew each other, but like I don't know, randomly got you on an offer.
That's right.
Randomly got you.
Cormac. Randomly. Bro, you're helping me actually remember. It's so funny how the stories are so intertwined. All by coincidence.
By the way, at this point, we didn't even know each other. Like, really. Like, we'd never met each other. I have no idea about you. You don't know anything about me.
Yeah, you literally posted. I remember in Closer Cartel, you posted because I was cold calling Solar, and I saw this guy on Instagram is looking for a job. Maybe it's worth a shout. There's like no Aussies, right? So I'm like, done. I'll message him. I messaged him, told him I was trained by Luke's, and then obviously an offer owner's like, well, he's put skin in the game, right? They like to see that. Gave me a shot as a closer very early on in my career. And it's funny, Cormac actually helped me out a lot. I only worked with him for a short period of time, but I had the first interview with him, right? And I could tell you that he like wanted to bring me on. I was starting as a setter, and he said to me, "Oh, like what are your periods at work?" And I'm like, "Oh, bro, like I work from 6:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. at night. Then I have an hour drive home, so I can start work at like 6:30." And he's like, "Bro, that's too late, man. Like you're not gonna be able to call everyone at that time." And I'm like, "Oh, fuck." Like, he's like, "Yeah, man, like, I don't really know what to do. I want to hire you, but you don't have the availability." And he goes, "One piece of advice I'll give you is that I know how you feel right now, and I know it's tough to like make that jump. It's never going to feel any easier though."
Yeah.
And I was like, shit. And I remember calling back 2 weeks later, "Hey, bro, quit my job. Let's do it." And he still had the position available, luckily. And that was great because obviously got so much experience. First day, 400 dials, just like, I didn't know any better. I didn't know that you're supposed to only do 100 apparently now. So,
it's funny because the more you know, and because just naturally the space has become more free flowing in information, but there's almost a beauty to the pure ignorance of coming into sales. Because even when I was looking for a role, bro, I didn't know how to get a role. It was just Luke said you have to reach out on Instagram. I don't know where the fuck these group chats were, or these job postings and all this shit. I literally did I kept the track of stats. I did like 150 video messages or some shit just to get some absolute pitiful, great role, but it was just a dog shit role, to be fair. It was what got me in the door. So, and it's the same with that. It's like you literally did 4 times the output of what you didn't know otherwise. So I think that's something that's big in the space. It's like there's too much knowledge to the point where I don't know that you hinder yourself. It's like, oh, I have to do $100. If you had been like, oh yeah, I got to do 100, you would have done 100. You were just like, fuck it, 400.
Well, it was like this too, bro, because I didn't have anything to compare it to, right? Like I was the only setter, and I had a big list of leads to call. Like they were old age leads. I get a big bunch of leads in my CRM.
Yeah.
I know how to call them. I'm coming from a place where I'm working 10 and a half hours a day on the job site. I'm like, okay, well, I'll do 10 and a half hours a day in my CRM. Like, it just made natural sense. 100%. Then when you start learning more, and other people are like, no, you got to protect your time, and we get into start to fall in a bit of that laziness because obviously it's a bit different working from home, be comfortable, take a shit whenever you want. Like, it wasn't like that where I was working previously. So I didn't. Yeah, I think you're 100% right. It's like that uninformed optimism at the very beginning of your journey.
100%. I remember at the beginning of my journey, I thought I was going to do 30K in fucking 3 months.
Yeah.
US. Like, I genuinely told Namara, I'm like, yeah, 30K in 3 months. Fuck it. Bro, it's going to happen.
Yeah, you didn't know any better, bro.
Happened eventually. So.
Exactly. And I want to get to that for sure. And I know that, like, obviously you're very early pioneer. Like, I remember the early days when we sort of got together and we're like, hey, what's missing here in Closer Cartel is more so like the Aussie side of things. So let's get all the Aussies in here. And I knew Keno, he wasn't in Closer Cartel, but he's a friend of mine who was also in sales doing real estate. And I'm like, let's just put a bunch of people in a group chat together. I think Saxon was even there too, still working as a carpenter. I think there was like 6 of us. The very early days of True Blues. So like even the one that runs now, that wasn't the original. That we had a page and it could only get 10 people.
I remember that one. That's right. Yeah, it did, didn't it? Oh, that's funny.
And we blew up to way past 10 pretty quickly as well. But like, talk us through that, because obviously you were very early pioneer in obviously let's bring people together. Let's not point fingers and say this is wrong, this is wrong. Like, let's just create what we see as sort of the gap in the market. And obviously now Australians in high ticket are more connected than ever. Like, you have Lando's group, you got like so many other opportunities now for Australians that we sort of didn't have access to 2 years ago. Not that I know of, at least. Like, that could be by my own ignorance. But what are you sort of seeing as like the advantages of like being in Australia and having the ability to get so much access to people who are a few steps ahead, being in the game a little bit longer? Like, where do you think people should sort of start and sort of use as tools to them?
Yeah, I think it's a mix of everything. Because there is a lot of groups out there, and I think you should utilize maybe not all of them, but at least follow some ironclad methodology. And to sort of just quickly touch on that point as well, I think when we first started the group, there was no intent. Like, a lot of the groups now are very intentfully like, it's sales training, and that's fair enough, and that's what it should be, and that's what people do need. I think when we were starting, it was just, I don't know, there's so many like Aussies and sales, and like we're just trying to figure it out. Like, it was more from like a necessity standpoint than opposed to even some sort of maniacal like, okay, this gap in the market, let's slot in here. It was just one of those things where it's like we recognize the value of bouncing ideas off each other and the value of some form of community. Because there was a lot of times, even through touching back on that first year at PSU, and I think a lot of, especially the earlier sort of community members, like that was like a pinnacle place to go. Like, sure, it may not have been the best sales training, but at the very least, it's nice to know that there's other people experiencing the same things as you in the same situations, and someone to actually fall back on. Because it's like, even in my personal experience, through that first year at PSU, when that was my first closing role. It's like, that was, some of those days were the fucking worst days of my life and the best days. But it was like True Blues was always there, whether it's just me and you doing role plays, me, you, and Keno, or we're actually doing a Sunday session. It's that community, and I guess just having that, it's just the same people. Like, it's just having someone who can understand what you're going through.
I think you're right. I don't think it really started too much like that, where we weren't masterminding some big plan. It was sort of bred so much out of authenticity, of like just people wanting to help other people grow. And of course, it was a smaller, tight knit group. So naturally, you're going to get more of that. What are you working on? What are you struggling with? And we did all game planning. And obviously, people get attracted to that because they could sort of feel that hard on the sleeve approach. But talk to us about, like, obviously, you've been doing some fucking absolutely astronomical numbers lately, which is so amazing to see after so many years of grinding it out, going from different offers. Obviously, the skills were there, the opportunities are there, but now it seems like you found something that's really seems like home for you. Talk us through that process there. Like, what do you feel like is different in maybe this opportunity, or like maybe this point in your career that sort of was missing in the past? Like, what's the biggest thing you feel like maybe changed?
It's a good question. I often think this because it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know, everyone has their different story. Some people are 3 months in and actually do the 30K a month. Some people don't. I think I was very much the opposite. And for me, it's just been a long, drawn out accumulation of skills, certain mindset principles, and just leveling up as a human that all just enabled me to excel in the role I am. Because it's one of those things where it's like, I could have gotten on this role a year ago, and sure, I probably would have earned more money than I was on the role I was then, but I just wouldn't have been able to maximize the opportunities to where I am now. So I think a lot of people get into the space, and especially me, That was the perfect example. Like, perfectly sold the dream, and I fucking appreciate it. Like, fucking well done to you, Nehemiah. I think you just got to realize sometimes it's just not going to be the sort of I guess fairy dream it's going to be.
Yeah.
So I think that nothing specifically changed. It's just I was molded into the person that can take advantage of the opportunity to the best of my abilities. Because
Yeah.
obviously it's a natural accumulation of skills, experiences, certain mindsets and events that are gone through, and then it just builds up into my point.
Yeah.
I think there's sort of two phases, at least from what I've noticed in my sort of development. It was very much accumulation of skills and all the lessons needed, which was definitely that first year at PSU. Then even carried on a little bit longer. Fucking hell, like seventh level, that was a fucking oh Jesus, that was a fucking tough one.
Tough, yeah.
Until yeah, it all just there's a right time and a right place for
Mm.
everything. I think if you just stick to it, you'll eventually get there. So I don't think necessarily anything just flick the switch and it was just different.
Yeah.
It just happened. Like
Yeah.
eventually there's going to be a point.
Yeah, it's a very grounded response. Like I think it may take longer than you expect. It's going to be very much harder than you expect. If you never give up, it's always going to work out at the end of the day, no matter what it is. Ultimately, maybe it doesn't work out in the exact way that you first anticipated, but you'll still find something at the end. But I don't think it's about that anyways, because I'm sure like even for yourself, like where you're at right now, I'd be very surprised if you were to tell me, hey, this is like the end, this is the cap. Like it's always like, okay, what's next, what's next, what's next. And it's something we're certainly burdened with, but it's also what helps us achieve those higher grade those greater levels, if you will. But like if you were a beginner in the space, or you were to talk to yourself like 2 years ago, what sort of advice would you have given yourself? Would you say just do exactly what you did, or would you maybe take a bit of a shortcut? Like, what would you sort of recommend?
It's a hard question to answer because hindsight is always incredibly clear.
Yeah,
Like, I'd love to create this perfect plan for some new guy where you come in, you do this offer for 6 months, you learn, and it's just like it can be done more efficiently. But I just truly believe everyone's on their own path. It's
mm,
like I would never change anything. And I think if you'd asked a lot of people, especially when not made it, but when they're in a good place in sales, it doesn't matter how much hardship came before it. It was
yeah,
just sort of a necessary evil per se, because it's obviously crafted me into who I am today, and the
yeah,
lessons I learned along the way are the reason I can speak and to even train people, because it's
yeah.
like I've gone through the same experiences. So there is a better way to do it,
Mm.
but that just wasn't my way. Um, like the best way is just
Maybe this is a better question. Like,
yeah,
what are you sort of focusing on now as like needle movers in your career? Because
well,
obviously you're at a place where sure, there's always going to be more skills to learn, right? There's always going to be maybe a fancier way of saying things. I'm sure that's not really what you're focusing on. Offer, you're on a good offer. You have a strong network. Where does someone go when they sort of get to your level, or like where are you sort of focusing on to like improve your game and just like level up? Whether that's um, like in terms of career or outside, like what are you sort of focusing on as needle movers?
a little bit of everything. Because the thing with sales is sales only actually really gets fun when you start winning. So there is still aspects of like I do want to develop this skill set even further than it is now, but it's very much away from sales.
Mm,
It's very much more like I don't know. I just describe it as being more human, more behavioral, psychological, if
okay.
you will. Um, so less of like sales tactics per se. I'm still
Yeah.
focusing on that, but the main thing right now is there's sales skills and then there's like sales process. That's a
Yeah.
big thing that I've just been optimizing. Like, okay, how can I farm referrals? Like, how can I maximize pretty much every single lead? Like, what do I
Yeah.
need to do process wise? Because I don't want to sell. I can't be fucked. It's too hard. I just want like, how can I turn people into a lay down before they come? Like, that's where
That's
I've been focusing my attention to very
that's
much.
the sexy answer too. Everyone wants the cool clips of objection handling and doing the whole discovery process, making people do ahas, which is obviously fun. But there is easier ways of doing so when you're sort of in the game for a while and you've been selling. It's sort of like I am like when you're a salesperson. I think one of the biggest lies that's taught is that you have time freedom. I don't necessarily think that's true whatsoever because your your calendar is your ATM. So if you have an empty calendar, well, where are you getting your money from? Unless
Yeah.
you're doing outbound, right? So of course there are other tools at your disposal, but even still, you're filling up your calendar with the outbound. So I think that's the reason why um, telling salespeople you have time freedom, especially in high ticket, is sort of a lie because you're directly tied to your calendar. So now it's like, how can I get more out of each unit of input that I
Yeah.
put in?
100%. It's just that I've sort of been pondering on this. I think once you have like a 40% close rate and you sort of know, because you get to a point in sales where you're like, okay, I just close it this rate and I know I do this process and it works this amount of time. So then there's this overall piece of there's no more like peaks and troughs. Well, they're still there, but they don't feel like it. Because
Yeah,
it's like, okay, well, fuck, I just closed 10 people now. Maybe the next fucking 30 won't close for whatever reason, but then I'll close another 20. It'll even
yeah,
out. So I've started thinking like whenever you have a process that works 40% of the time on an offer consistently, it's just focus on the other shit. Getting good at sales takes too long. It's too hard. I'd rather just figure out how I can. Okay, do I have to send this motherfucker specific material on this bullshit objection that he's got in his mind? Okay,
mm,
let's just get that out of the way. How can I just like make everything easier?
yeah.
Like I
Of
don't.
course.
It's just I reckon 40%. Just close at 40%, and then just go focus on process. Skills will come eventually anyway, because you probably get more reps from it from going process driven anyway. So
Yeah, no, no, it makes perfect sense. We flex on the guys a little bit. Like you're allowed to have a cheeky flex here. Like, what did you do last month, or even on track
I
for
thought
this
you
month? I know it's something crazy.
it's fucking ask me. I'll flex without anyone telling me to flex. No. So last month it was 45,000 in comms.
Yeah,
But to be fair, so I closed them on the last day, but then they didn't sign the agreement until like 2, 3 days after. So I ended up it was 41,000, but I
right.
was like, bruv, I closed them then, so 45,000.
Yeah,
But yeah, 41,000, then 37,500 the month before that. So
wow, that's a big jump from
yeah,
500 to 41,000.
wait, what do you mean?
Is that what you said? Sorry. So you went 45,000 last month, 37, and then 500.
No, so 37,500.
Oh, sorry. I thought you
The
said five.
first month I did 21,000, and the next I think I did 23, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So
far out. Like, it's so amazing to see because obviously you've been putting in work for a very long time. But like, even like last year when we were working together, we were actually working together on a couple of accounts. Um, but like, I remember you were like, you weren't thinking of throwing in the towel, but you had to like go back and do some other stuff for a little while because like you were simply like just running low on cash and you just, I remember you pulling your
oh yeah, brother. Oh fucking that was. I think that's a testament to the journey. Like
hand.
I don't know, because even throughout like the community, like I don't know, there was months where I do 15K, then there was months where I do literally like fucking 1,000, if
Yeah.
that. Um, yeah, that's what I mean. It's all a part of the journey. Because yeah, a bit of context. There was a point there last year. I think it was like early last year. I came off a holiday. Spent $10,000 on this
That's right.
holiday with me and my missus to go to the fucking Cook Islands in the middle of Whoop Whoop.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst at the time, I decided to leave the offer I was on for the year and just went cold turkey into another role, which was seventh level. And it's a great account. I would never speak poorly on either of those offers really.
No.
Uh, but I pretty much came back and I had zero cash, and I thought that seventh level was going to be the payday that I was looking for. And just at that time, it wasn't for me. And I think I stayed on maybe like 2 months,
Yeah.
earned basically nothing. And there was just like rough. And at that time, I obviously spent all my money on the trip, not
Mm.
thinking I wasn't going to be making money.
Yeah.
And so there was a period there where it was pretty much ZipPay was my fucking. I was buying GYG with ZipPay.
Yeah. Yeah. I
You
remember.
fucking, mate, if I'm hungry, I'm getting some food. I was literally, so I racked up like 10K in ZipPay. Like I put a few expenses on the like the flights for it and stuff. And literally no money to bring in.
Mm.
So basically went out. I was like, fucking, I got to do something here. So I do the dials in the morning for like 7th because it was outbound end-to-end sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I fucking call people who have already been called 15 times for fucking 6 hours or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then I go and do some fucking Uber, DoorDash type shit just
Crazy.
to fucking get some money. It's like, brother, I'm a year in. Those are just a very, I know, it's just a very tough time.
Yeah.
Because it's like, and it's one of those things where it's like you've been dedicating yourself to something for literally a year, and you have these expectations. Like I just had these expectations of myself, whereas like I need to, like I thought I'd already be in the promised lands by now.
Yeah.
I'd obviously been working my ass off, high volume account, made a leap of faith into somewhere else, was working hard, but it just wasn't really, like I said, just wasn't the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, then it's just like I'm fucking doing Uber, bro. I could
Yeah.
have been doing anything. I could have been a fucking VA and I'd be earning more money at this point. So
That's the raw, uncomfortable truth that, like, I hit earlier, but there were definitely times where I was like dabbling, where I'm like, you sometimes feel like you're walking on like a thin piece of ice, and you're like, man, do I even have any stability right now? Which is the raw truth. When you're doing comms only and you're jumping on accounts that are US time zone, you're slogging it out, doing end to end, awful to learn skills. It can be a raw reality when you go, hey, my expectations of myself are like up here. My reality's here though. And that gap really does hurt people. I think that's, can really eat away at people's confidence as
oh,
well.
bro, that like crushed me because it's like I know I was never the one to do something for that long and really have nothing to show for it. To be fair, like I
Mm.
literally didn't have any money in the bank. I was doing like it's just so embarrassing. Like I was so embarrassed at the time. Like I don't know, like just DoorDash. Like I know we jump on calls and it's like you put on not a straight face 'cause it's like you can wrap it up into like the hustler culture, like oh yeah I'm grunting, but it's like I don't know, it's just so embarrassing.
Mm.
And I think that's what a lot of my sort of drive comes from.
I would
Um,
say so, yeah.
I just don't want to be I just don't want to be embarrassed. Like it's like I don't know, bro. It's just there's something about putting in so much work, just not having any results to show for it, almost walking around. I don't know. I felt like I was somewhat of a fraud because, like, bro,
Yeah.
who's been doing this shit for a year? And it's like I'm fucking bro. I'm doing DoorDash right now. Like that is just even when I say that now, I'm like, oh, that's so embarrassing. Like it's just fucking, it's just fucking shameful. But yeah, it is. It speaks
Funny
to the
though.
instability that can be there.
But it
Because
speaks
yeah,
to a deeper truth too, which is that, like, I feel like a lot of high performers, including myself, right? Including you, including like many of the guys I know, we always have like this sort of, there's this void, I like to call it, of like this big gap where you're like, I don't actually feel like I'm doing anything. I don't feel like I'm actually enough right now. I should be doing more. I should be so much more. And you have like this constant sort of outrunning of yourself, which just gives you sustained energy. I know there's a lot of people right now probably listening going, that's fucking crazy talk. Like, you probably shouldn't do that. I'm not saying it's the most efficient. I'm not saying it's the most effective. I would just say it's the raw truth of a lot of people that are sort of operating at high levels at this point in time, for sure.
yeah, 100%. I think you've got to use what you've got.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their different little thing. I'm not even necessarily sure if that is like I do get deeply embarrassed and stuff like that.
Mm.
And it's like a shame inside. And I know shame is one of the like that as an emotional standpoint
Yeah. Lower.
is yeah, literally the lowest. So it's always one of those things where it's like it's gonna push you forward or it's not.
Yeah.
Other people's looks different. But I think a very true part of that is like you just gotta use what works, brother. Like
Yeah.
just
Shovel the coals in the furnace, bro. It
yeah,
burns well.
I did it and it worked out, but it
Yeah.
fucking sucks ass. Like I was questioning myself every single day. Like the amount of times I've thought in this 2 years, like what am I doing? Like
Mm.
fucking I can literally feel it now. Like oh, bro, it's just like this. It's just like this frustration of like, bro, like this. How when is this gonna
It's
end?
real, bro. Like, that's the real. You know what I mean? That's the real feeling that people get.
Yeah.
You wouldn't appreciate 45K a month if you didn't have to do fucking DoorDash 6 months earlier. You know, so
Yeah.
it wouldn't feel as good, bro. So appreciate it for what it is. But talk to us about this, right? Like
Yeah.
coming into real estate, like there's a lot of guys that are killing it in the game with real estate, especially in Australia. There's like
Nobody's
you,
killing it like me.
Chino. Yeah, there's a few guys. I see you guys
But
pushing
nobody's
something big.
killing it like me. I'll flex.
What do you think is like? What do you think's different, if anything, about real estate comparatively? Let's just compare it to some sort of info course plus coaching. What's like your process now that looks sort of different? How did you sort of land that role? Is there anything to the offer versus skills sort of debate? I'd love to hear your
Yeah,
opinion on that as well.
for
And
sure.
just like, yeah,
No, I think I've got a good contact because I majority of my career I sold biz op. Like
yeah,
fit, literally sold fitness. Or I've literally sold everything at this point. Um, I think the main thing from what I've noticed in, I guess, industries, because I think a majority of industries outside of biz op, people just have money, bro. Especially real estate, people just have money. Like the only people who come to my calls have money. So it's like selling to people who are rich. What the fuck? People who come, I'm like,
yeah,
rich,
yeah,
brother.
yeah.
You're complaining about tax? Don't talk to me about that shit. But like rich, it's just so much easier. They've just got, because I think it's just like from a behavioral standpoint, to be able to even just save up $100,000, you've got to have some level of discipline, like
Yeah,
some level of maybe not even intelligence, but at least financial literacy.
yeah,
Like you probably understand, like, okay, I work, I can save money.
of
But
course.
a lot of people don't understand that. I swear to God. Like,
Mm,
to be fair, though, I sold the bottom of the barrel for such a long time,
yeah,
and like, because yeah, even PSU, V Shred, they're like, brother, fucking these people. I don't know. They got $2 to their fucking
volume game. It becomes a volume like
volume.
just smash and
Vo-
bash. Yeah.
for sure volume game. But the biggest differentiating factor is that they have money, and objectively, I'll be the first to tell you, it is an easier sell. Like,
Mm,
I'm
yeah.
good, but I'm not some fucking messiah. It's just an easier sell. Like
Yeah.
it just naturally is. It's less emotionally taxing. And these are calls you can, especially myself, I genuinely rock up to these. I'm so chill. I just
Yeah.
do whatever I do. I don't even care about the fucking sell. I just talk shit.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm just talking shit. So I say that's the biggest thing. It's just they're rich and it's easier to sell them. It's something they want.
Yeah.
You got to understand macro
That's
trend.
yeah. Are you selling what people want? Because if they don't fucking want it, well then like, yeah, you can front load that with skills and
Yeah.
go more into like the emotional manipulation side to get people to buy. Like, of course you can, right? I'm not saying you can't do that, but yeah, you are playing a long game there, a harder game, I would say.
And
That's
that's
not
the
to
thing
say
is,
you can get these offers, right? And I want to make this very abundantly clear because I hate the offer hopping mindset because I think it fundamentally robs people of the important lessons that you and I learned very early on in our career, which is like it's not necessarily important about the cash or the offer. It's about who you become in that process. Because the man you were 2 years ago, like you sort of alluded to at the start, he wouldn't have gotten this role and executed it the way you are now. It's because you had to go through all that rubbish that you actually can. So
for sure.
skills get your foot in the door with these opportunities.
100%. And sort of expanding of it, because there was 5 reps before I joined this offer. Five
Mm,
reps who didn't make it. So that's what I mean. Yes,
yeah,
100%. You need the skills. It's an accumulation of everything. And then there was also the benefit of getting into this position in this role isn't so easy because the real estate sort of buyer's agency sphere is very, it's not as sophisticated skill wise,
yeah,
but it's got some beliefs in terms of, oh, you have to have property. You already have to, you don't have to know property. You have to have been a buyer. All this absolute bollocks. Like
yeah,
it doesn't make sense, but it's just naturally like a barrier to entry. Because I applied for like 3 roles like this beforehand. No, I've gotten every interview I've ever gotten except for those ones. Because like, oh, sorry, you don't have any property experience. So
yeah.
they're all shit. Um, but they just have a property, and so those salespeople were able to get in there. The way I did get in there is interestingly enough, it sort of funnels back to what we were saying earlier with the community. It's like
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's connections. It's not just skills, and it's not just finding the offer. It's the best offers are the ones really from connections, like some
Yeah,
form of network.
because exactly because the best offers aren't looking for reps because the reps coming to them. They already have people. As soon as hey, I need someone, immediately they get someone. Like they don't have to go to market. Hey, I'm hunting a killer high ticket closer with this. They don't really necessarily need to because they have such a magnetic pull towards them, right?
100%. 100. And that's the thing. It's like I never would have been able to get to this position without even just the True Blues itself. First of all, in terms of what we were talking about earlier, like just the skill developmental standpoint, community, and just having people going on the same journey. But also from a connection standpoint, Kino got me this role. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say I just fucking willed it out of thin air. It's like no, Kino got me on this role because he
Yeah.
was connected and he's in True Blues, and I've met that gun in real life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like
It's like who do you
it's
recommend the job? Someone you know online who you've talked to a couple times, or a dude you've like literally like we were sparring together when you came down, we're shedding blood, we're having laughs, going out for dinner, like that guy. Which one are you going to recommend that role to? And you trust that he's good at his job as well.
no 100%, 100%. Kino's a
What's
dude as
the
well.
same with those guys? Like because I think you even it's funny you bring it up because obviously when we had the True Blues event last year, was
Fuck,
what
that was good.
late October, right?
Yeah.
We presented those tickets and you know we sold them out very early, right? We sold them out in about May, so about 5 months.
We fucking smashed it, mate. I don't know
We
what
did
you're talking
smash
about.
it. We did smash it, but what I will say is there were a lot of people who were still skeptical, right? Like a lot of people who were, and we sold those tickets like 350, like it was pretty cheap
Yeah.
for what you get. Um, but like it was kind of baffling that some people were still sort of on the edge because I felt like we were trying to front load it. And I'm like, you've been to events before. This wasn't your first event, likewise. So I think last year I went to the Bills event in flight halfway across the fucking planet to go there. But like, what would you say to those people? Like, pitch if I actually get a return on my investment by going to them.
Bro, that's such a fucking gay mindset to hold. Like, I know it's like, I understand where it can come from, especially if you haven't utilized the group to the best of your ability. I could understand that.
Mm,
Because ultimately, of course, I was in there early. Like I'd seen the fruits of what could be had by putting in the work, jumping in the chat,
yeah.
going to the sessions, talking to the cunts, meeting up to people in real life. So I understand where they're coming from, but at the same side of the coin, it's like, when are you ever going to be in a position in the exact industry you want to be in with people who are in pretty much the exact position you're in, or either 5 steps ahead, and be able to, I suppose, in some fashion, learn from them and connect with them?
Mm,
It's like, bro, when's it gonna happen? Like, even if you go to this massive event, it's like, bro, you're just not gonna like. It's just not the same. It's like,
yeah.
sure, there's a fucking 1,000 people there, bro. What, you're gonna meet 1,000 people? No.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's something that's hard to pitch because it's like anyone who is skeptical obviously just hasn't put in enough work in the community to understand the value of it.
Mm.
But it's one of those things where it's like, bro, it's fucking $350. If you're worrying about fucking $350, you got bigger problems, brother.
How can you
You
answer?
need to be there.
Yeah. That's literally right. How much it costs you not be there with
Yeah.
that fucking mindset and putting yourself? Yeah, it might cost
That
a little
was
bit more with the flights and the accommodation. What, maybe $2,000 with dinner and all these sorts of things that you might end up ballooning to. But if you can't put $2,000 into your
think of
relationship,
it like this.
jeez.
Kino got me on my role. I met him in real life at the event.
No, you met him before the event.
I met him before, but I also met him in real life at the event. So
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, slot me out, slot someone else in. Someone
You
could be in my position.
met him in Cessnock.
Of course, I fucking love Cessnock. I love Cessnock. Cessnock's my fucking favorite place.
Sorry, bro. Sorry. Didn't
So
mean
good. No, you're good. But pretty much what I'm saying is, replace me, put someone else in there, and it could have been anyone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
That's a very good way of looking at it. That's the thing, bro. It's like we're not special, and especially in sales, like it's a performance-driven game. Sometimes you get like everyone gets dealt a set of hand, like a set of cards. You get the hand you're dealt, and you got to use them the best of your ability.
100%.
So yeah, naturally, there's going to be guys on good offers. I know one dude, fucking crushing it last year. I remember we were going, man, how is this dude doing it? Like 70K USD a month, selling like Ozempic.
Ugh.
Just something people want, bro.
100%.
Something people want. But bro, I could literally talk to you for another 10 hours, I'm sure, like we have many times. What do you sort of want to wrap up with? Is there any closing remarks you want to say to people? Maybe a lesson, maybe something you've heard from a mentor, and on top of that as well, where can people find you if they want to, work with you in some sort of capacity, speak with you? Where do people go?
Yeah. I'd say the first thing, like closing note is, I think the big thing is like, and I've talked to dudes with it where it's, and just seen it, and yeah, I can feel it as sort of like a mindset of, I know, I feel like some people, times people are ashamed to sort of admit where they're at or very hard on themselves internally. I think it's fair and it's valid, but it's like, you just got to keep going. Like,
Yeah,
you will make it. You might be a year and a half into somewhat of your journey in sales. Brother, the next offer, the next month could literally be the one. It is just a case of like, don't give up. Like, not everyone's story is the same. Like, comparison truly is the thief of joy. It's
yeah,
like, don't worry about the dude who did it in 3 months, bro. It's like, don't, who gives a fuck about that dude?
eat you alive.
You just gotta go. You just gotta go focus on what you gotta focus on, because they might have prerequisite skills anyway. And that
Mm,
motherfucker might be into the army. Sure, he's got just socially and mindset wise, he's already got the building blocks there.
yeah,
Like, you've got to build yourself up to be that person. So just fucking take it one day at a time. Like, you get there, you'll crush it. Just a case of walking the path.
I like.
As far as where anyone can find me, fucking, I don't know, brother. I don't really have too much socials. True Blues. Go into True
True.
Blues, and I'll be there. Or WhatsApp, but you'd have to get my number for that.
Yeah,
Fucking
so
say,
you have to take you out to dinner first.
yeah, I need 2 dates minimum.
Yeah, that's a good one, bro. And even with that too, like of course, people are going to be very brutal on themselves when they're like not in the position you want to be. Don't suffer twice.
Yeah,
Don't already be in the shit situation and then beat yourself up for it and then suffer again. You're just constantly getting this loser loop. Break free of it.
100%.
It will work out as long as you don't give up.
Yeah. I think a good frame for it is one I learned from Hormozy, which it's just the ability to zoom out.
Mm.
I remember he talked about the grandfather frame, and one thing that I went to many times and I was like, oh, this is just the fucking worst thing in the world is, look at a coin this big, it's massive. If you throw it in the corner, it's not. So just think of yourself when you're 85, when you look at the problems you're facing now, complaining about a fucking shit day of sales or a shit month, you just fucking laugh at it. Just laughed every time, like, oh, bro, that's so funny. Like, if I was 85 right now, I'd be like, fuck, I wish I had those problems.
It's straight up, bro. Yeah. But Chase, what a conversation. Great to finally do this, man. I think the guys are gonna get a fuck ton of value from this as well. And as always, man, it's always good to catch up with you and speak with you. And yeah, man, we'll get you on here again soon. See how the market
100%.
reacts to this.
When I'm at $100,000 a month, we'll come back. We still got that race to 100K
I
in
know.
the bank or something. I just fucking remember that.
Yeah, raised 100K liquid cash in our own personal bank account sitting there. I just can't keep fucking. I just spend too much money, bro.
Yeah, I'm bad as well, bro. I need to chill out, legit.
Oh, sweet. Well, Chase, until next time, brother.
Easy, brother. See you, Joe.
Bye bye.